Thanks a million for the nice introduction. Let me also introduce Enphone, because I'm pretty sure not every one of you has heard about that. So as Enphone, we are similar to Christoph, a European company, headquartered in Munich in Germany, but with a strong presence across Europe. So you will meet a lot of our UK colleagues at the booth. And we do have 55,000 customers in the area of business communication, so focusing on cloud telephony, contact centers, and increasingly in the last few years in enriching business communication with AI, so focusing on chatbots and voicebots in that whole business communication sphere. And this is what I would like to do with you in the next roughly 20 minutes as well, to look at how can voicebots in practice help businesses and help to turn communication from incoming requests to resolved outcomes. What I love to start with is always to look a bit at statistics. What does the data out there show us? And of course, for a European conference, it's relevant to look at European statistics. And one of the latest ones is from Eurostat, which is all about AI usage. It has been published in December 2025, and actually brings up a point that Suresh has just mentioned beforehand. Because we do see that the usage of AI in companies is growing, but we see that we need to look specifically as well at small and mid-sized enterprises. And what you can see here is that the AI adoption, we have a very large disparity between what is happening in the large enterprises, where more than half of the companies have already deployed AI, compared to small and mid-sized businesses, where actually the mass of businesses and the mass of employees are, and where we only see 17% of the small enterprises using AI. And if you really want to use the potential of AI and not just have, well, ChatGPT that helps you to write a poem or an answer to an email, but really change workflows, enhance the productivity, change the experience, you need to look at workflow automation. And there the difference is even more noticeable. Large enterprises have deployed around about 24% AI in workflow automation. Still a way to go, even for large enterprises. But for small enterprises, you see, you can't even see the number because we are only at 4%. And what's the main primary reason around this? Well, there's a lack of expertise. So many of those businesses say, we don't know where to start, we don't have the expertise, we need to move into that direction. And that's for us the motivator as well. We are focused very much on small and medium enterprises across Europe to embed AI into workflows to help companies get started and leverage some of those productivity gains. So if you look at the area of business communication, what do many companies struggle with? Well, one of the main areas is people try to reach you, but is there anyone picking up? I mean, I don't know what about you, but if I call small businesses in our region, doctors' offices, businesses, whatever, very frequently I'm calling, and if I'm lucky, maybe there's a voicemail that tells me to call later again because everyone is busy. Very often, the call just ends. And this is actually where you lose a lot of business and a lot of trust from your customer base. If they can't reach you, well, they might move to some online ordering kind of capabilities, and you didn't even know because no one picked up the phone and understood what do your customers and clients need. And especially for small and mid-sized companies, that's a real challenge, right? Nowadays, even I myself, there's an expectation of 24/7. If something jumps into my mind at 7 in the evening that I need to sort out, I would like to do it now. But realistically, especially smaller companies, well, they do have opening hours. They might be open from 9 to 5. There's simply no one picking up the phone at 7 in the evening or during the weekend. But of course, there's this overall expectation to meet those operations. And there is now a chance using automation, using AI to serve this need without employing people 24/7 around the clock and making sure that the requests really lead to outcomes and lead to the right activity. So this is all supported, of course, by the rise of conversational AI, large language models, generative AI, and the multimodality around that. so that you're not just looking at pure text chats, but that meanwhile AI is really good in understanding voice as well and speaking, and that you can realize scenarios that really help to answer to customers' requests. To make that a bit more tangible, I picked an example of healthcare. I think many of you, me as well last year, have tried to reach out to doctors, and especially if you are in a threatening situation, if you are really in a medical emergency that maybe requires some more long-term treatment, there's a lot of questions that you have. And especially in the medical sector, that's for me something where I say, well, I want actually nurses and doctors to take care of patients and to treat them, and not just to pick up the phone and answer a question of someone asking some standardized inquiries that could be handled even more automatically. But if you have those questions as a person, as a patient, and no one answers them, especially if you're in a medical situation, that really costs trust. And of course, this really shapes the experience around the whole care experience. Because if you have questions and no one can answer them, if you just stand there and try to find your way, that really shapes the care experience. And that's, of course, something where I want to show you now, and that's why I'm here with my laptop, how that experience could be turned around by saying, well, very often people just have questions about information that they would like to get served and where they don't know where to look it up. Very frequently, it's the one and same question and workflow that needs to be done, and where AI can help to automate that experience. That's why let's have a look live at a use case that we have built together here for a demo. And what we are looking at is a rehabilitation center. So very frequently, if you leave the hospital after a longer issue that you have had, you might have to go to a rehabilitation center. And very seldom there's actually rehab centers that provide really extensive information as we do here in the sample use case. But there's a lot of requests attached to that. And what I would like to do now is that I look as a relative of my mother who's at a rehab center to understand, well, when can I visit her? How can I make appointments? And I would like to do that with a voice bot. So let's call that voice bot. Let's just see that the audio out works. So you hear a ringing, that's a good sign. So let's call our voice bot.
Welcome to Sunshine Rehabilitation Center. I'm Vitalia, your digital assistant, here to support patients, relatives, and visitors. How can I help you today?
Well, I would love to know if there's any kind of parking options nearby the center.
Yes, there are parking spaces available at the main entrance of the center. The first hour is free, and after that, it costs €1 per hour. Is there anything else you would like to know?
Well, my mom is currently at a rehab in your facility. What are the visiting hours for me as a relative so I can come and see her?
Visitors are welcome daily from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. You can visit your mum during these hours. Do you have any other questions or need more information?
Well, the next time I'm there, I would like to speak with a doctor to understand her progress and if we need to organize anything for after the stay at home.
To assist you further, could you please provide your name?
Sure, Janet Miller.
Thank you, Janet. Could you please provide your callback number so we can arrange for a doctor to contact you regarding your mum's progress and post-discharge planning?
Yeah, it's 0151 123.
Thank you. Please let me know your preferred date for the meeting with the doctor.
Well, it would be awesome if tomorrow would already work out.
Thank you. Could you please tell me what time you would like the appointment with the doctor to start, earliest possible time for you?
Well, I'm available tomorrow between 2 p.m. and the latest 6 p.m.
Thank you, Janet. Here's a brief summary. Your preferred date is the 19th of March, 2026, with a meeting time from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Your callback number is 0151123. Your ticket number is 2300. We will contact you as soon as possible to confirm the appointment. Please let me know if you have further questions.
No, thanks a million, that's it.
Thank you very much for your time. Goodbye.
Okay, maybe what you have observed, one thing where technology really in the last few years has changed dramatically, this is not at all like an IVR menu where you had a very static way to navigate through the flow. You can talk really naturally and you have a large language model that understands the intent of the user. So you don't need, as a person, to adapt to what the machine understands, but actually the machine has a very good understanding of how sentences are phrased and how you can place your request. And that's why you can smoothly run through a flow like this without having an awkward experience like maybe 6-7 years back where even Siri and Alexa and whatever just understood certain keywords and no way you could deviate from this. What you can also see here, this is our cloud telephony client that I've been speaking with. So this is our Enphone business telephony, where there's also AI capabilities included, like summarizing calls or inbound voice bots. And what I would like to show you now is that, of course, it's important what is happening in the background. So you do see the request that I just put at 10:21 has really been brought into the system. We do have here a contact center, so the Enphone contact center, and you see that now people can work with that information without going through the detailed transcript that you also can get, but you really get a summarized request, you get all the relevant information extracted, and then can take the next process steps around that. What is happening in the background? Well, we do have a voice bot that we've just been talking with. And for this, you can also see that later on in the booth. We have Botario as our voice bot platform behind this. And to really understand how callers are using your voice bots if you place them out there, it's important that you have statistical information as well, right? Because whatever, as an IT person, you put out there, people will use it differently. So you need to understand what are people actually doing. And you can see all the analytics here. And some of the key elements, well, does the bot hallucinate or what does it know from? Well, you feed knowledge management, you feed information from your knowledge base to answer those frequently asked questions. You have some flows, so you've seen that the bot was guiding me through questions that it needs in order to make the appointment. And this is, for example, let me just see. You see here there's different self-service flows that we have in place. So let's take, for example, a visit date in the rehab center, where you can then see in this flow from the freestyle natural capabilities, we were then flowing really into the flow where it asks me for my caller name, callback number, and so on, to really collect all the information and to put this into the next process step. So this is where you combine generative AI then with a structured workflow that is repetitive, because that's key for businesses, that the bot doesn't answer very differently each and every time you talk with it, but that it always asks for the information that you then need later on in the right process steps. Well, as we are in a chatbot conference, if you have built something like this, you will reach now quite a point of people who love to interact via phone. Actually, for me, if I don't need to call but have any other digital media to interact and place my request, I'm the most happy person in the world. So what you can also do is that you offer the same thing as a chatbot. And you see we have done that here already on our demo webpage, that we have the exact same Vitalia assistant available as a chatbot, and I can then ask questions like, where can I park? So something that I've just done before. And you can see that the chatbot can provide the same level of information. Again, for business communication, quite key, you will have very different preferences of your customer base. if they are more the generation and type of people calling, if they prefer to send an email, if they like to have a chatbot on the website that they can chat with, and you want to build that workflow and that automation once and bring it into all the relevant channels where your customers sit. Well, with that, you have hopefully now seen a quite interesting way on how you can automate conversations and inquiries that are recurring through agentic capabilities, voice and chat. This has, of course, now been just one example in the healthcare industry. We already support with our Botario platform customers in regulated industries. We have public sector customers in those areas as well, insurances like AXA. So there's multiple industries that can benefit from this. This has just been one of the examples. And for me, of course, the call to everyone is, of course, let's exchange ideas, let's exchange opportunities, and let's take this as well as a trigger to change how we do things. And of course, for us, it's all about business communication through the different channels and to modernize that and bring that to the next level. Then, thanks a million, everyone. We're happy to see you later on at the booth, and handing back to Christopher.